Hi guys, welcome to the video. Jason Clemens. So today I want to go back and talk about, so you might have this feeling that you're going nowhere in life, and I wrote a post about this. It's a super long post. I believe it's over 6,000 words. I think it's the better part of 8,000 words. So it's a long read, but the post was 21 things to do if you feel like you're going nowhere. And I'm just going to expound on a few of those here. As many of you know who watch this, I've been an entrepreneur for the past 15 years, and so you're not getting a consistent income check, from a 9-to-5 job. You may have a 9-to-5 job, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, but the bottom line is whether you have a 9-to-5 job or whether you're an entrepreneur, people who are like personality types where they think they have to, high achieving personality types are generally those who are susceptible to feeling that they're just not going anywhere, like they're not getting anywhere. And maybe it's financially, maybe it's in a relationship, but there's some things that have made a profound difference for me in my business, both in it helped me achieve more freedom, but also in peace of mind and income too. Because let's face it, we all want to make fucking money because it's important. Making money is important, and that's what can buy your freedom. But if you feel like you're not going anywhere, it's just a pain in the ass. And so I just want to expound on a few things that we talked about in that article, which, like I said, is really fucking long. But so take this quote, and we always start with a quote, but the pursuit of success is a catalyst of failure. And that's from Greg McKeown, and he wrote the book Essentialism. It's a fantastic book. I highly recommend it, but again, the pursuit of success is a catalyst of failure. And so to get this, not to get all deep, but it helps to understand what a catalyst actually is. So going back to your science class, okay, I'm sure you took science even if you were sucked at it, but I'm sure you took that back in the day. Even if you didn't go to college, I'm sure you took it chemistry in college, or you had some chemistry background in high school, whatever. Maybe you're doing chemistry in your basement. Doesn't really matter. But a catalyst is basically a substance that you add into other chemicals, okay, that speed up the reaction. Okay, that's basically what it is. So in doing all these things we do, that we think in quotes, we need to do to get success, okay, that pursuit of all those things is the catalyst that speeds up failure. So why the fuck does that actually happen? And this is something that maybe you've heard in the past, but the bottom line is, okay, you need to understand a very profound concept. And I don't give a shit what it is that you think. I think I'm in the camera here, sir, but that you think in your mind you're not going anywhere, okay? And in my experience, the number one reason, okay, that this happens has to do with this. Noise, okay? And if you go, not to pick on psychologists, but I don't have a lot of respect for the vast majority of them because they just make the problem fucking worse. But you're never going to hear this, okay? The bottom line is, and I think it was, don't quote me on this, I think it was T.S. Eliot, don't quote me on it, but some brilliant dude back in the day said, okay, almost everything is noise. Almost everything. Probably 99% of the shit, okay, that we focus on whether we're pursuing success in business, that could be financially or more freedom, okay? Or if we're pursuing success in a relationship or anything else, probably 99% of the shit we're actually doing in that pursuit does not need to be done. It's noise, okay? It's like watching, anybody who watched my videos in the past, you know that I harp on this. It's like the stock market. It's like observing the performance of your stock on a daily basis, okay? Okay? Basically, it will go like this. So when you hit this down period, you're freaking out because you're losing money. When you hit this period on a day, you're excited. And what do news outlets do? Every day it's either excitement or it's catastrophe. Every fucking day. Excitement or catastrophe. And so, but you're focused on this. When it's the excitement, okay, now you're in a good mood. Now you feel like you're doing great. Now it's down. Now you're freaking out. And the net result is it's just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That is all noise. These fluctuations, okay, you're going to get some talking head, okay, explaining this on CNN or wherever you're getting your stock market news from. And he's going to try to explain to you why that happened in some fancy sounding lingo. But he's full of shit. Almost always he's full of shit. He's going to say, well, this happened, in Iraq. And therefore, your oil stock is down, or this, or this, or that, or this. And it's something different every day. They take one event and try to interpret it into the stock market. And what causes this, up, down, is mostly just noise, okay? If you read Fooled by Randomness, it's a brilliant book. He explains this. It's mostly fucking noise, okay? The same thing applies to if you're pursuing business success or trying to make more money, okay? You're going to think that, well, I'm not making enough money, okay? So what am I doing wrong? Well, maybe I gotta do X better, okay? Or I gotta do Y, or I gotta do Z, whatever, okay? Almost always, that's just noise, okay? And this is the shit that people focus on a daily basis. Someone will tell them, well, you gotta work harder. That's not. They'll say that. That's a common one. Well, you just gotta work harder. What does that actually mean? Nothing. It's an abstract. Working harder is an abstract that means nothing. Okay? Nothing. You can work harder in the wrong direction and get absolutely nowhere. Alright? So if you let this sink in, that almost everything you're trying to do that's wearing you out and confusing your mind is noise. It's really, really just fucking noise that you're focused on, okay? And that so many times makes your head spin, and it puts you in a state of mind like you're going this direction, in this direction. You've heard the phrase, pulled in many different directions. Well, you're not getting anywhere when you're pulled in many different directions or spreading yourself too thin, all right? It's all caused by noise. So, once you understand that, you understand that there's relatively few things. It's like the 1%. So people have heard of the 80-20 principle. So I could say it, 80% of the things you do are not necessary. They're just not necessary. Or 20% of the things you do account for 80% of your results. I could break it down anywhere, but it's probably like that top 1%, okay, of the things you actually do are what is going to take you on an upward trajectory. And you see this in businesses. If you have a website, all right, my entire background is digital marketing and websites, all right? You see it across the board in everything. I don't care if you're doing SEO. I don't care if you're doing advertising. I don't care what you're doing. 1% of the campaigns you focus on are going to probably bring in the bulk. It's like those top, and maybe this is 2%, all right? But anyways, it's going along the lines of the principle, the 80-20 principle, all right? There's like 1 or 2 or 3, but most of the time it's 1 that brings in most of your money, okay? And everything else you're doing, everything else is just detracting from that money you're bringing in. It goes across the board, okay? So your goal, no matter what you're trying to achieve, all right, is to find that 1 or 2 things. Now, I'll give you some ideas, all right? I basically do 3 things every day, all right? And it's allowed me to work out of my house, make plenty of money, come and go as I please, and have no debt, and my focus went up. And it's not that I'm a genius, all right? I'm sure you're way smarter than I am, okay? But the bottom line is, it's about finding these 1 or 2 things. So for me, those things, basically, because I'm in business, all right, that is understanding marketing. So I study it, all right, because marketing is everything in a business. It's how I get my business, all right? So I study marketing, all right, daily. I'll typically make some videos or some piece of content on a daily or bi-daily basis, all right? And then I'll read. And right now, I'm doing about 4 hours a day. Now, a lot of people can't do that. My schedule allows me to do it. I know Warren Buffett reads for 5 hours a day. He attributes his reading for 5 hours a day, basically approaching his business, bordering on lethargy, okay? They don't actually do a lot. He reads 5 hours a day and waits for amazing deals and then acts. But the reading is what puts his mind in that mindset. So for you, it might be different. Again, it might be different. But grasping these 2 concepts, okay, are massive in basically attacking that thought of you're not going anywhere. Hugely important. And let's get into the third one, because this is a common one, okay? So let me make sure that I'm still... So number 3, and this is huge, okay? So we already know that high achieving types, as we said in the beginning, are typically the ones who are experiencing, I'm not getting anywhere. They're always trying to get somewhere. They're always trying to get to do something, okay? Typically, many of these people are perfectionists. My handwriting sucks, but they're perfectionists, okay? Being a perfectionist will kill you. It'll kill your momentum in anything, all right? And we touched on this in the article that I wrote a while back. We touched on this idea of being a perfectionist, all right? There's something that I said in that article that I wanted to repeat here. Let me find it real quick. Okay, so there was a quote that I said in there, and I'm not going to take the time to write it down, but basically the one common thing that all perfectionists share, Okay, the one thing they have in common is they have a hard time getting shit done. They take the small minutia, okay, which should take seconds or minutes, and they blow it up into something huge. They blow the shit up. And so they can't get anywhere. They run into roadblocks because they can't get anywhere, and everything they try to do ends up like that. So all this stuff, if they take the fact that they're pursuing success, okay, and everything they do is about trying to be successful, and they think they got to do all this shit, only they got to do it perfect, they don't get anywhere. Super common for entrepreneurs to be this way. Super common, and also other high achieving types. They want everyone to think that their work is so great, and they want to do such a great job that they're a perfectionist in everything they do. But there's this concept, okay? So there's this concept of delegation if you're an entrepreneur, of delegating work, okay? And so perfectionists they don't delegate work. They want to do everything on their own. And so maybe it's you too, and whatever you're doing, you're trying to do it all on your own, okay? Because you have this idea that it has to be just perfect. But there's this idea of minimal viable product. All right? Minimal viable product. And it's nothing new. All right? Basically, the bottom line is your goal is just to find something that's good enough and get it into the marketplace in order to see if there's actually a market for it, if it's going to work, instead of trying to make your product perfect, spending 2, 3, 4 years. A lot of authors do this. They'll spend 2, 3, 4 years writing a book, and they'll release it into the marketplace, and it won't even have a market, and they'll make no money. They've just wasted all their time. Versus, if I write a minimal viable product, maybe I make a book on that topic that's a couple hundred pages versus a couple thousand or 1,000, and release it. I can find out quicker. The same thing applies to everything. Okay, you want to get 80% good enough. All right, just 80 fucking % good enough. Now, this does not apply to every industry. Okay, if you're an airline pilot, obviously it takes common sense. You wouldn't fly on a plane if the pilots were trained to be 80% of the time to be good. That wouldn't work. Okay, or a surgeon. But as an entrepreneur, okay, releasing products, all right, you hear this harped on, and it applies to everything. All right, if you're not making enough money, or you're feeling miserable, you're feeling like you're not getting anywhere, odds are you're taking shit and blowing it way up, non-important stuff, and blowing it way up, okay, and it's just stymieing your results in doing that. So that's the third thing I wanted to touch on. Now there's one more thing I wanted to touch on. Okay, so I think we actually did to an extent, but I really harped on this in the article. Comes back to finding this one thing. So let's say you want to make more money. So let's say your goal is to make more money. Okay, so let's say whatever, you're an entrepreneur. The bottom line is that people basically think that to make more money, they focus on this one thing, so they get that down, okay? But then what they'll do and I am guilty of this shit, this is hard to get over this. What they'll do basically is they'll think that they need to do it. So they put themselves on an island basically, as if they're the only ones, and they think that they need to focus on this one or two things, okay? The bottom line is, this is especially true for entrepreneurs, but people who generate a lot of success, okay, and this is huge, it's so fucking true, but there's not a lot of people that are good at it. The bottom, especially perfectionists, the bottom line is, people who generate a lot of success and they get places, okay, they make more money, okay, they are surrounded by smart people. But that's not enough, all right? They are also not afraid to delegate. Okay, and I think I spelled that right. If I didn't, just fucking correct me. But they're not afraid to delegate, all right? And we talked about this in depth back in the article, the 21 things, but they're not afraid to delegate. So they have smart people, and they're willing to let go, all right, or to spend money to buy expert opinions. Not expert opinions, but expert work. Okay, so let's go back to my example of this. I am willing to take input and pay money for good input on my marketing, because there's people out there who are better than me, all right? I'm willing to take input on these things that I do on a daily basis, because I know that if I do and I'll buy it, it'll move me forward into the direction which I want to, have more money and more freedom. Well, let's say that you're not. Let's say that you're not an entrepreneur. Let's say you have a 9-to-5 job. Okay? You feel like you're not getting anywhere. Well, already, if you cut out a lot of the noise, what would be noise? What could you pay somebody, okay, to do for you? Well, it could be something so simple as paying a house cleaner once a week or once every other week, okay? Or it could be something so simple as, let's say one of your things, that will make you more money is resume, specifically building out your resume, because every company, if you're going to apply for a better job, and we talked about this, smart people who have a job that doesn't pay them enough do not quit their job. Well, they have that job, they're applying to higher paying jobs, whether that takes a year or 2 years, they start now applying to higher paying jobs. I talked about this in a past article, okay? It's just smart. But one thing you might pay for is to have a professional resume done for you, okay? Instead of trying to do it yourself. They will take your experience and put it into a resume that will kick ass. Or you might hire a job search assistant, okay? Or a company to promote you, to find you a better paying job, which costs money. A lot of people won't pay that money, but the amount of work that will save, and these people are better at it than you, the amount of work that will save, it just takes a load off you, all right? You can sit back and basically, they can find you a job or a better paying job, all right? Especially if you're in your job right now and you allow them the time to do it, and it will scrape all that out. it's like a peace of mind. So it's just examples of it, of ways to scrape out the noise and to focus on these 1 or 2, 3 things. So without getting long-winded, but the bottom line is these 3 things are huge if you feel like you're not getting anywhere. They've made a major difference in my life. They fucking work. Plain and simple. It's about noise. Get the fucking noise out of your life. Focus on the 1 or 2 things that actually matter with the success you want to achieve. All right? If you want more money, find those 1 or 2 things and stop being a fucking perfectionist. Just stop. All right? The pursuit of success is a catalyst of failure. Okay? Specifically, the undisciplined pursuit of success is a catalyst of failure. So hopefully you found this beneficial, guys. I sincerely, seriously, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I know I run long on a lot of these videos, but I hope you're getting value out of them too. And I value your input. If you found it useful, like it, like the video, share it with a friend, share it with whoever. Leave a comment below. You can check me out at jasonclemens.media. Again, most of the content, I try to get this content in, but most of the content that I teach on has to do with marketing and lead generation and basically blowing up your website and making a lot more money. But this stuff's important. This is like the mental game behind all of that. And so I know that I go through this and a lot of people go through it, and this stuff has really benefited me. So I hope it benefited you too. And we got another video coming shortly, so